address and not talk to each other for weeks. You sleeping in the west wing, I'm sleeping in the east wing. You sit at your dinner table, I go to my little cot at my dinner table. The reason why you can do all that in the same house is because God ain't in that house. James, in his epistle, wrote and explained to the children of God the reason why God's children fight in God's house. And the reason why James says that God's children fight in God's house is because somebody trying to have their own way. Come with me to the book. And James asks a question here. James says, from whence come wars and fightings among you? James says, where do they come from? Where did y'all get this idea that you're supposed to come to God's house with a chip on your shoulder? Who told you that you're supposed to rise up on Sunday morning and come into the hour of worship so you could tell somebody off? Where did you get the idea that you're supposed to come in this house and give somebody a piece of your mind? Who told you it was all right for you to come into this assembly and have a bone to pick with something? Come on in the room. Where did we get that? That's what James is asking. James says, from whence comes? Where did it come from? James said, how did it get here? Where did y'all get this here from? James is asking the question, from whence come these wars and these fightings among you? James not only asks the question, but James answers the question, because some of us can ask the question, but very few of us can turn around and answer the question honestly. So James helps us out. James says, I know where they come from.
All right.
Are y'all with me this morning? James says, I know where they come from. And James is going to reveal to us where they come from. James says, they come from the lust, the desires, the wants, the having it my way mentality. He said, that's where it comes from. He said, that's exactly where it comes from. And James says, you lust. In other words, you desire. You want, and you have not. So because you don't have, you will destroy in order to get what you want. That's what he means when he says you kill and you desire to have. And you still can't get what you want. So you fight. And whenever somebody's fighting, they are fighting to get something. Right. They fighting to get something. Some women fight to get their voice heard in the house. In the house. In the house. She fighting. She throwing stuff. She breaking stuff. She kicking over stuff. She tossing stuff. She slamming cabinets. She slamming the oven door closed. She's throwing stuff. What is she doing? She's fighting to be heard in that house. If she feels like her voice is not being heard, there is a visual display of her desire to get her point across. Yes, sir. That's it. Come on in the room. Yes, sir. You follow me? Men fight in order to maintain control of their territory. Men are very territorial.
Yes, sir.
And as a man, you don't like for other men to come and invade your territory. It's something about seeing another man in my territory that just ain't gonna sit well in my spirit. I need to know what his motives are. Ever since Adam left Eve alone to talk to that snake, and man has been working out of the sweat of his brow, and every time he has to do hard labor just to eat some bread, subconsciously men have developed the mindset of territorial protection, because what happened to Adam's house ain't gonna happen to my house. So what you talking to him for? Come on in the room. And what you talking to him about? You follow what I'm saying? It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust him, because I don't know if he's up under serpentine influence. You know what I'm saying? He may be on the side that the serpent was on, and I got to keep my garden clear and free of trouble. And so people fight for something. And so the question becomes, what am I fighting for in my house? Sometimes we fight for respect. Sometimes we fight for love. Sometimes we fight for righteousness, justice, and I just want things to be better than what they used to be. Sometimes we fight to have our own way, and that's the wrong reason to fight. When James says you have not because you ask not, and when you do ask, you still don't receive because you're asking amiss. James is talking about a selfish individual. You cannot have two people trying to build a house and one person is always thinking about themselves. The house will be divided when two don't become one. Y'all getting this? The same thing that occurs in God's house. When people try to have their own way, it's the same thing that happens in our houses. We fight because we want what we want at the time we want it. We fight because I'm trying to do it my way, and you decided you're going to do it your way. And I'm here to prove to you that my way will last longer than your way. We fight because neither of us have learned the art and the spirit of compromise. And the more we fight, the more divided we become. And the more divided we become, the more independent we start thinking and acting. And independence among those who are family always puts us on the battleground. You're trying to do your thing, your way. I'm trying to do my thing, my way. We're two folk who ought to be one, but we're two separate individuals trying to have our way in that one house. James asked the question, from whence comes these wars, these fightings among you? James is wondering, why are we battling and contending with each other? Why are we trying to destroy each other? And I know that's the case because the word that James used for fighting in our own language in this text will be the same as arguing, fussing, and fighting with each other over what we desire that the other person does not desire. James indicates that the reason for the fight